Can the interpreter read the oath, please? And then, Mr. Abdi, if you repeat it after the interpreter. Yes, can the interpreter read the oath, please?
Deklaroj solemnisht
I solemnly declare
se do të them të vërtetë,
that I will speak the truth,
gjithë të vërtetën
the whole truth,
dhe asgjë
and nothing
përveç të
but
vërtetë.
the truth.
Thank you very much. Would you like to take a seat?
Witness, your name is Bilal Avdiu.
Po,
Yes?
When were you born?
pra 47-ës.
In 1947.
And were you born in Ratchak?
Raqa.
In Rechak.
Do you live in Ratchak?
Po,
Yes.
Mr. Avdiu, you gave a statement to the Office of the Prosecutor on the 30th of November in 1999. Do you remember?
po,
Yes.
And on the 28th of May 2002, you attend a meeting with a presiding office of this tribunal, and a copy of your statement in the Albanian language was read out to you. Do you remember that?
po,
Yes.
At that time, you had an opportunity to review, and do you agree with the content of your testimony?
po.
Yes.
Prosecution submits the statement and the attachments into evidence.
Yes, exhibit number.
Prosecution Exhibit 187 for the unredacted and 187A for the redacted version.
As a clarification to the court, his statement has two attachments. Sorry. His statement has two attachments. Attachment A, there are photographs that the witness provided, and where he shows his house and several places in Ratchak. And these photos are the same photos that are contained in the Ratchak binder tab 8. And the attachment B is photos of vehicles that were identified by the witness. The summary of the witness testimony is the following. He is a Kosovar Albanian who is a survivor of the incident in the ravine in Ratchak in the municipality of Stimuli on 15 January 1999. He states that towards the end of 1998, there were two attacks on Ratchak by Serbian police who were positioned on the hills surrounding the village. There was no KLA presence at the village at that time. No one was killed during these offensives, but two civilians were injured and several houses were destroyed or damaged. The witness states that the police wore blue camouflage and plain blue uniforms, and the VJ soldiers wore green uniforms with camouflage. The police and military vehicles, APCs and Pragas, that the witness observed at the Chesta Hill prior to and on the 15th January 1999 are identified on the attachment B of his statement. On 15 January 1999, at 7 in the morning, the witness woke to the sound of gunfire and explosions in the village. He realized that the village was being attacked and took shelter with his son in Faik Limani's barn. His son was shot in the left leg as he was entering the barn. There were 5 men there from the village, all of whom were unarmed and in civilian clothing. They all left the barn and went to Sadiq Osmani's house, where they joined other men from the village. About 25 police arrived, took all the men out of the barn and searched them. Their ID cards were taken, and the police commenced beating them with sticks and other instruments. They were cursed and threatened that they would be killed. VJ soldiers were also present. The men were all ordered to climb the hill to the ravine. When they got there, to the ravine, the witness saw uniformed Serb police who shouted and cursed at them. The Serb police then opened fire on the men and killed them. The witness feigned death for about 5 hours in order to stay alive. He names the victims and survivors and checked some of the victims for signs of life. He spent the night in the forest with other survivors. The witness states that all the men in the ravine were civilians and were not wearing anything that could be mistaken for a uniform. Most were either young or elderly. No further questions.
Yes, Mr. Milosevic.
U vašoj izjavi naveli ste da su
In
na
your
Račak
statement,
izvršene
you
dve
said
ofanzive
that 2 offensives were
u
carried
periodu od kraja
out against
98.
Rachak
pa do
from the
15.
end of
januara
98
99.
until the 15th of January
Kada su
of
te
99.
ofanzive izvršene?
Can you tell me when did these offensives take place?
At the end of the year 1998, this happened. The Serbian forces and the Serbian army, with the army, tried to enter the village, but there were no KLA soldiers, and they didn't.
A da li je bilo nekog napada na
And
selo pre
was
kraja
there
98?
an attack on the village before the end of 98?
They came in and burnt the houses, about 65 houses, and there was no KLA, but they burnt the houses. This is what Serbian forces and the
Ja
police
vas
did.
pitam, da li je,
I'm asking you,
molim vas, vodite računa šta vas pitam, pa odgovarajte na
please
moje
pay
pitanje.
attention to what I'm
Da li
asking you and
je bilo
reply only to that.
Napada na selo
Was there
pre
an
kraja
attack
98.
on
Da li je bilo
Rachak
napada na
before
selo,
the
na
end of
primjer, u leto
98?
98.
Was there
godine?
one, for example, in the summer of 98?
There was an attack, but I'm not sure of the date.
Pa da li je bio neki napad kad je bilo leto?
Well, was there an
98.
attack in the summertime of 98?
Yes.
Jer to znači treći napad? Ova ste dva
Does
rekli
that
od
mean that
kraja
that was
98.
the third
pa do
attack? You said that there were
15.
two
januara.
from
Je li
the
to
end of
treći napad,
98
odnosno
until the
desio se
15th of
pre ta dva
January.
napada?
So this other third attack took place before these other two.
The witness may well be confused by that. Mr. Avdiu, just tell us, if you would, how many attacks in all there were by the Serbs in 1998 and 1999?
98 dy herë
Twice in 1998,
janë sulmu.
they attacked.
Me të 15 januar
And on the 15th of January,
kanë hinë në fshat,
they entered the village
rreth fshatin e kanë ataku mes
and
natës.
surrounded the village at night.
15 sabah.
And on the morning of the 15th at 7 o'clock,
Dy anë e fshatit
on both sides of the village,
e xhamisë
Dobro,
e
to
In the
vas još
mosque
nisam
neighborhood.
pitao, molim vas.
All right, well, I didn't
Znači,
ask you anything
bila su
about
dva
that.
napada 98.
So there were two
godine.
attacks in 98. Is that right?
That's what he said.
dy herë.
Kad je bio prvi napad 98.
When was the first attack in 98?
Nuk di sakt.
I don't know exactly. I don't know what date.
Da li je bilo proleće, leto, jesen ili
Was
zima?
it spring, summer, fall, or winter?
Po mas gjysës verës.
It was in the second part of the summer.
I šta se desilo prilikom tog prvog
And what
napada
happened during that first
za koji
attack,
kažete da je bio u drugoj polovini leta?
about which you say that it was in the second part of the summer?
Kanë sulmu fshatin forcat sërbe,
Serbian forces attacked the village, the police,
dhe nuk janë hinë fshat.
but they didn't enter the
Didn't have-
village. The second time,
Janë hinë fshat.
they did enter the
Të dy
village
ante e
from
kanë
both
pas-
sides, and they burnt the houses.
Dobro, ja vas pitam za prvi napad,
All right,
znači
well, I'm
taj što
asking
je
you about
bio,
the first
taj
attack,
što je bio u leto,
the one that took place
nisu ušli
in
u
the
selo,
summer.
znači.
So they didn't enter the village then, did they?
Ja.
No, they didn't.
Je li neko povređen tada
Was
u selu,
somebody
je li
hurt
nešto
in the
porušeno
village
u
at
selu,
that
ili
time?
nešto
Was something
zapaljeno u selu
destroyed or
tada?
set on fire in the village on that occasion?
Po zjarë keshte në fshat.
Yes, there were fires in the
Më
village,
plagu, as më vras sin vra.
but nobody was killed or wounded.
Kako je bilo požara ako nisu ušli u selo?
So how come there were fires if they didn't enter the village?
Në me data nuk e di,
I don't know the date,
apo herën e parë, apo të mramën,
but on the first
jenë hi, kanë
time,
fshat.
and then the second time they entered and they burned.
Po njerë kanë gjujt,
They
apo
also,
parën herë, apo dytën herë kanë gjujt, e
And
kanë sulmu fshatin,
first time and the
Ata
second
një
time, they did
forcat sërbe,
attack and
policia,
they shelled from a distance.
edhe
And then they entered, and then they
na kanë qumë për
Burned.
gjumë.
and then they woke us from sleep.
Vi ste naveli da prilikom
You
ovih,
said
kako vi kažete, ofanziva,
that during,
u
as
selu
you
nije
call them,
bilo
offensives,
pripadnika.
there were no
Ove kave, samo
members of the
civila.
KLA in the village. There were
Je
only
to tačno?
civilians there. Is that true?
Vetëm civil keshte.
There were only civilians.
A kako onda nisu uspeli da uđu?
So how come
Kako
they
vi
didn't
kažete, srpske
manage
snage
to
u selo?
enter Serb
Rekli ste
forces
te su
into the
ofanzive bile
village?
neuspešne.
You said that these offensives
Ko je
were
tada iz sela
unsuccessful.
pružao otpor vojsci i policiji?
Who
Na kanë provoku,
organized resistance from the village, resistance to the police and the army?
They provoked us.
po policia sërbe, apo
The Serbian police,
Pa jel to znači da oni nisu hteli da uđu u selo?
Does that mean that they did not want to
na
enter
kanë
the
provoku.
village?
They provoked us.
Na kanë provokuar,
They provoked us.
na kanë gjuhën, na përfshatin,
They
na kanë provokuar.
fired at us in the village.
Pucali iz daljine, znači, ali nisu ulazili u selo.
They fired from the distance but did not enter the village. Is that what you're saying?
O,
Yes.
Da li je bilo žrtava
Were there any
nekih
victims
tada? Da li vam je
Jo.
poznato?
on that occasion? Do you know of that?
No.
jo.
U selu nije bilo.
No.
A da li vam je poznato
There were
da li
none
je
in the
bilo
village.
žrtava
And do you
na
know
strani
whether
vojske i policije?
there were victims on the side of the army and the
Da li je
police?
poginuo neki vojnik ili policajac?
Were any soldiers or policemen killed?
No.
Ja.
A da li su stanovnici vašeg sela, znači
Did
vi
the residents of
stanovnici,
your village
da li ste imali neki unapred pripremljen plan za slučaj
have
napada?
some kind of a
na selo?
plan prepared in advance in case there should be an attack on the village?
Nuk e di.
I don't know.
Ka pas plan.
There was no plan.
A da li možete da objasnite kako je moguće
Can you explain how
da
is it
prilikom
possible
tih napada
that during
i kažete granatiranja
those
sela
attacks and
od
shellings,
strane
as you
vojske i
say,
policije,
by the army and the
da nije
police,
bilo nikakvih žrtava?
there were no victims, none at all?
Ka pas.
I don't know.
A dobro, da li
All
imate
right.
neku, kako bih rekao, saznanje ili
Do you
zamisao
have
o tome
any information
zašto
or
je
any
vojska
idea
želela da uđe i
about why did the
osvoji to
army
vaše
want to
nebranjeno
enter
selo u kome
and
nije
take
bilo
this undefended village of
nikakvog
yours
prisustva UČK?
in which there was no presence of the KLA whatsoever?
That is not for the witness to answer. You can't say why the army did something.
Dobro.
Very well.
A znate li gde se nalazi mesto Rance?
Do you know where the place called Rance is located?
O,
Yes.
A koliko je ono udaljeno od Račka?
How far is it from Račak?
6 kilometra.
5 kilometers.
Da li ste bili tamo u toku
Were you
kraja
there
98. 99. godine?
at the end of 98, 99?
Nuk kom të qanë në Rancë.
I wasn't in Rantha.
A da li ste znali u Račku da se tamo
Do you
nalazi
know
štab
in
OVK?
Račak that the KLA headquarters was located there?
Nuk e di që shtu është shtab.
I don't know of a headquarters being there.
Shtab. Si piko konën,
The,
konë
there was a
disa,
headquarters
o që kjo, aty kanë vëzhgu terrenin.
with KLA people. They were looking at the terrain.
A krajem 98. godine
And at the end of 98,
koliko je članova OVK bilo u samom
how
Račku?
many members of the KLA were present in Račak itself?
Nuk e kom nje, unë,
I didn't
po në
hear.
është me një në shtab, me nje.
It wasn't
Padope vogël,
allowed to go to the headquarters. I went.
Da li znate kako se zvao komandant
Do you
OVK
know
u Račku?
what was the name of the KLA commander in Račak?
Nuk e di.
I don't know.
A da li su oni bili sve vreme u selu ili su se
Were they
vratili
present in the
išli
village the
sa
entire
drugim
time,
pripadnicima OVK
or they
u
went
Rance
back
i u druga mesta?
with other members of the KLA and went to Rance or other places?
Ata kanë nejtën një kohë të shkurt,
They stayed for a short time,
shtabin e kanë pas në Rancë.
and they had their headquarters in Rance.
A za vreme boravka u Račku, bez
And
obzira koje
during their
vreme su
stay
bili,
in
da li
Rachak,
su
regardless of the
pripadnici
time
OVK imali
period,
svoje
did the members
prostorije
of the
u kojima su se
KLA have
hranili,
their own
spavali,
premises in which they
lečili i tako dalje?
ate, slept, had medical treatment, and so on?
Nuk kom qenë shtabën.
I wasn't at the headquarters.
A jeste bili u bolnici?
Were you in the hospital?
Ja,
No,
jo. Nuk kom konë spital atë kohë.
I wasn't in the hospital.
Jel to znači da ste se sa
Does this mean
pripadnicima OVK mogli sresti samo na
that
ulici?
you could meet members of the KLA only in the streets?
Rrugë i kom po.
I didn't see them.
Në
They watched the terrain, and I don't know who they were. I don't know their names.
E legush me mja lyp dokument. Ku shokona, që ka pas emni.
It wasn't done to ask.
Dobro, ali
People
vi
who
ste
they were.
naveli da su... Dobro,
Yes,
dobro, ali vi ste
very well,
naveli
but you
da
stated
su od te 30-torice pripadnika
that
OVK,
out of those
10-torica bili vaše
30-something members of the
komšije.
KLA, 10
ili
were your
rođaci.
members or relatives.
Vi znate bar imena tih vaših
You
komšija
should
ili
know
rođaka.
at least names of your relatives and neighbors.
Nuk ka pasën
There was-
pjantarëve tem e që kjo.
There were no members of my family in the KLA.
E për qetën nuk e dijen,
And about other
Shokon.
people, I don't know who was in it.
Dobro, ali ovi ljudi koje pominjete
All right,
kao
but
vaše
these
komšije
people
i
that you
rođaci, da
mention
li su vam
as
oni
being your
poznati?
neighbors or relatives, you do know them, don't you?
i një unë ne jemi
I know them.
shkajnë konë civilun e një.
They were civilians.
Da li su stanovnici Račka pomagali ovim
Did the
pripadnicima
residents of
UČK,
Rachak
od kojih
assist
su
the members of the KLA,
ta 10-torica koje ste naveli komšije
out
i
of
rođaci,
which these
prilikom ovih njihovih
10 that you mentioned
na
were your
policiju,
relatives
vojsku
and
i
neighbors?
tako
Did
dalje.
they assist them when they attacked on the army and the police?
Jo nuk e kanë sulmu,
No,
asnjëherë.
they didn't attack ever.
A da li je neko od stanovnika sela imao oružje osim
Did
pripadnika
Any
UČK?
resident of the village have weapons except for the members of the KLA?
Nuk ka pas.
They didn't.
Niko u selu nije imao oružje osim pripadnika
So
UČK.
nobody in the village had weapons except for the members of the KLA.
Po,
That's right.
U izjavi ste naveli da je kuća
In your
Fajka
statement,
Limanija
you said that the
odmah do
house of
vaše,
Faik Limani was right next to yours.
pa onda kažete da je
And
to
then you go
negde
on to say
50 metara.
that is some 50 meters away.
Kuća? Je li to prva kuća do
So
vaše?
is
Koliko je
that the
stvarno
first
udaljena od
house right next to yours? And how far
Ja,
away
po,
from
ashte-
yours is it exactly?
The next door house
10 metra
Is
shtëpisë tam,
about-
mas shtëpisë tam më një herë.
10 meters behind my house.
a ne 50, je li tako?
So it's not 50, is it?
Ja.
No.
Ja.
A je li ova kuća Faik Limanija 50 metara?
And is the house
od
of
vaše
Faik
kuće,
Limani 50
ili je to
meters
kuća koja
from
je sa 10
yours,
metara od
or
vaše kuće?
is it the house that you say is 10 meters away from yours?
Veç një garë kemi në mjet.
We have only
Aty,
a path in
në një
between.
As 10 metra nuk e kam shtëpinë.
And then the next house
must be a
is
stand.
not 10 meters away.
Pa je li to ta kuća Faik
Well,
Limanija?
is it the house of Faik Limani?
Yes.
Po.
Dobro.
All right.
Kada je počeo napad na Račak,
When the attack on Račak
vi i
started,
vaš sin ste
you
se
and your
uputili
son
ka toj kući.
started towards that
Zašto
house.
ste se uputili ka toj kući?
Why did you do that?
Po.
Yes, that's right.
Për mes natës se kanë rrethekuar fshatin policia dhe ushtria serbe.
Police and the Serbian army surrounded the village in the night, and in the morning
Ka pas
there was
të shtone. Armë.
there was firing from all sides with
Blina.
Pragas and tanks and
Në
armored
Qupe Gjume.
vehicles, and they woke us up.
Ndalën në bar.
And I went out into the yard,
Të shtonat kanë filluar.
and
To
the shooting was going on.
Razumem to što objašnjavate.
Yes, I understand
Moje
what you are
pitanje je
saying.
zašto ste
But my
otišli
question is,
u
why
kuću
did you
Faika
go
Limanija,
to
kad
Faik
kažete samo 10
Limani's
metara
house? You
daleko
said
od
it was
vaše?
only 10
Šta
meters
se
away
nalazilo
from
u kući
yours. So
Faika
what
Limani?
was there in the house of Faik Limani?
Kon 4 vllaznin në shtëpi. Një
There
motor
were
kanë pas.
4 brothers and a
Unë shku për me
sister
qupe gjumit, ajnë qupe gjumit,
in the house, and I got them up and woke them up and took them there.
Shkova ati qaj pe gjumit.
I went to wake them up.
It's now 1:45 and it's time to adjourn. Mr. Avdiu, could you be back tomorrow morning to continue your evidence at 9 o'clock? Could you remember not to speak to anybody about it until it's over? And that does include the members of the prosecution team. So could you be back, please, at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? We'll adjourn until then.